And the guys are they're like, if Olivia did that to me, I would never forgive her. Doing a watch along of Scandal, the beginning, with a couple of the guys from Cinepal. And if you've never heard of them, don't feel bad, until I accidentally ran across their video on YouTube saying that they watched the first 3 episodes of the first season of Scandal. I had never heard of them either. But I was fascinated. I was really, really curious to get their take on the friendship between Abby and Olivia. One of the things that this show does masterfully is tell the absolute truth about the way relationships between Black women and white women tend to go down, pulling no punches about it. And yet somehow it's like the thing that people say, like, people, if you're a writer and you wrote the truth about people in your life, they would not recognize themselves. It is that. This top picture is pulled from an article of like the 10 saddest scenes in like on Collider or something like that of Scandal. And the guys are they're like, if Olivia did that to me, I would never forgive her. And then, the hypocrisy, and then reacting to the hypocrisy of Olivia comforting her after betraying her and, after playing her when it comes to David, by making her think that David Rosen is an abuser because she knows that her friend was in an abusive relationship. Here's the funny part. The reason why Olivia knows that Abby was in an abusive relationship is because she broke her ex's kneecaps with a tire iron, got her the best lawyer in Washington to get divorced from him, and then let Abby live with her. Now, why is Abby taking part in feeding information to David Rosen? Why is she taking part in this investigation? Why hasn't she blown the whistle on David Rosen when she first walked into his apartment and saw his wall of Olivia that he was clearly investigating? Why didn't she do that? Because the presumption for Black women is that what Olivia did for Abby is just our job. The other presumption is that when, not if, but when, our white female friends betray us, that's just business as usual. Because what we have to remember about this scene is that, frankly, Abby earned every second of it. If she hadn't been betraying Olivia, she would not have found herself in this situation with David. And now she goes to Olivia to lick her wounds, to cry and be comforted by Olivia for doing what? Breaking up with the guy who was investigating her and not warning her that this guy is investigating her. Now, why doesn't she do that? Why does she think that it's okay for her to behave that way? Because she wanted information from Olivia that Olivia had chosen not to give her. How many of us have been in this situation, Black women? How many times have we found ourselves in situations where we thought we were friends or co-workers, colleagues with white women who, without turning a hair, turn on us simply because there's something that they want to know, something that we have that they think that they deserve, or some dude has come on the scene and turned their heads, and now we are no longer relevant. In this case, it's both, because, David Rosen seduced Abby in order to find out information from her on Pope and Associates and the whole Quinn Perkins situation. And it just happens that it coincides with Abby's own interest. And so she did not see a problem at all in betraying her friend's trust. But we're all supposed to be really, really sad and upset by the fact that it looks like David has been exposed as an abuser. We are supposed to be really angry with Olivia for how could she betray Abby like that? How could she use what she knows about Abby to betray her? When that is exactly what Abby was doing to Olivia, frankly, with far less excuse than Olivia has. Olivia is keeping other people's secrets. She is keeping people safe. There are things in her world and in her life, as Abby says, that she knows that Olivia doesn't talk about. And one of the reasons she doesn't talk to Abby about them is the same reason why she wasn't particularly hurt, devastated, and surprised when she discovered that Abby was, in fact, sleeping with David Rosen and was, in fact, feeding him information about Olivia. But if you're sitting in the middle of whiteness, you don't recognize this. You see this moment, you see her really being so upset, you see her being comforted by her friend, but don't recognize that she has shown up for her friend in her friend's life, that Abby has shown up for Olivia in Olivia's life as a snake, simply because Olivia refused to satisfy Abby's curiosity. And Abby feels like she has the right to that information to the degree that she is willing to sell Olivia out to the United States, an assistant United States attorney. I'm always fascinated to watch people do this particular dance. And I kind of, because, most of the time that I watch Scandal, it's just me in my house. And I was always sort of a little bit fascinated by the way people responded to Abby's continuous betrayals of Olivia. Her continuous lack of empathy in moments when you would really think a friend would show up empathetically with Olivia. The way she's like, she's like, I'll follow you over a cliff. But she can't even shut down the investigation that her boyfriend is doing into her friend that she would. I mean, that's the thing. That is like the thing that as a Black woman, I do not take white women seriously when they claim to be loyal friends. Because this experience is something I have experienced 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know. I can't count how many times. Let's see. I think there is one white woman in my life I can say who has been in my life that I can say has never betrayed me. Every single solitary other one has. And I'm a good judge of character. So like Olivia, when those moments would come, it was rarely shocking. It was something that I'd already made room for as a possibility in my brain, that this woman at some point is going to screw me. And I liked other things about them, or the situations worked for me enough that I was willing to let that